It makes me laugh when Americans think we use metric in the UK. No, we use an ungodly mishmash of imperial and metric that makes no sense whatsoever. Canada does this too.
Mm-hmm.
Fuel.
Drives me up the wall.
It drives you up the wall.
We had this conversation a while ago.
It was a long time ago.
I understand.
About metric versus imperial.
I know, and you're hitting me with it now.
Yeah.
And honestly, the last conversation we had
6 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He's like,
So
I
long
want
ago.
you to recall, but I'll paraphrase. The conversation was about measurement systems and how some are more accurate, but precise,
Yeah.
but others are more visual in the sense that you can have a quick reaction
Right.
to a particular volume or
Easy to
distance,
digest.
or because you can. There's a kind of analogy in them, which would be where you could physically perceive it more easily.
Like a foot.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe
like
a foot,
a literal foot.
maybe a foot is an example, or a barrel full. I mean, it's ridiculous when you hear it. Barrels of oil. It's ridiculous when you hear it.
You can visualize
but you
it.
immediately visualize it.
Yeah.
Whereas the measurement,
It's like 500 liters.
it just might not
Yeah.
yield the same kind of reaction. So we talked about this because it's not as simple as the argument being that more precision is always better. Faster understanding in certain circumstances might be more important than precision. So there's arguments.
And my argument is that we should just adopt one instead of having a mishmash.
Yeah, but if and your argument, everybody has that argument. That's the primary argument.
Sure.
But your point is that they both have really good strength.
No, it's that, but it's also that if it were going to be one, it already would be one.
Oh, right.
Everyone would
If
have.
there was a clear answer, we would have picked, is what you're saying? Or adopted?
Or that. I mean, maybe this doesn't always occur, but this has gone on long enough now that it appears to me that these merits that I'm talking about are at least effective enough to maintain this stranglehold. However, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be that way forever, but it is the way that it is right now. And the vast majority of the world is metric.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the world was like, you guys are nuts. But it's all tied up in culture and history and language and
preference.
So you can imagine how ridiculous it would be to convert like a foot to some language. How would you even name the measurement? Like barrels of oil elsewhere in the world where they have a different word for barrel.
Right.
Now you have different words for measurements everywhere you go because you're really worried about this visual component. Like it works regionally, but globally or for international trade, it's a bit ridiculous. A bunch of cultures or languages are saying barrel. You follow where I'm going here?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's not numbers, it's language now.
Yeah.
So speed might be helped, but only in places where reaction to that language is immediate.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, here's a list of certain measurements in the UK that they use that has both metric and imperial.
Fuel liters, fuel efficiency, miles per gallon, long distance on roadside miles, short distances, meters, but called yards.
They have stones.
Yeah, for weight.
They have stones.
I know, it seems ridiculous when you say it.
Right.
But actually, once you've developed it, and I've never used stone for anything, but once you develop it and you have a visual representation in your mind of what a stone is,
right?
And someone says, how heavy is that? And he goes, it's about 12 stones.
Right.
And you just immediately know roughly what that is.
He goes into, or this user goes into deep language. So like how far away something is is converted into miles.
Really?
But how far you ran yesterday is converted into kilometers.
Yeah, people like KMs for runs because
Yes.
Because it's a higher number.
I don't know actually why.
I would like that if I went for a run.
I mean, maybe because running is competitive and the international standard matters there.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like
Right.
I did a 5K run.
Mm-hmm. But when somebody asks you how far something is, do you tell them in distance or in time?
It depends what the question is. Do you mean
how did he
to
phrase
drive to a place? You would say time. Usually, it's about 20 minutes away. That's what I would do.
That's right. And there's military time as well.
Oh my!
That
we are going.
not
deep.
everyone uses.
Yeah.
I would say the majority uses like a 12-hour.
Yeah,
time.
which there's another example where like why?
It's pretty popular in Europe, military time.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's another one. What is the point of that? Like what? And again, I think
well, it's even more precise.
Advantages and disadvantages.
Right.
Advantages and disadvantages.
So the top commenter says that there's difference in pints. Even when people use it, the measurement pint is different in the U.S. than it is in the UK.
Precision suffers massively in this scenario. What you decide to call a pint is open to interpretation, apparently.
Apparently.
You got this glass.
I think of a glass.
Bar. Yeah, but they're saying in the US and the UK, they're different. 8 pints in the US is 6 pints in the UK.
Oh. And this whole thread is people just kind of talking about their stories in measurements. And they all collectively agree that it's really confusing.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, there's a huge disadvantage to having these things be regional at all. But yeah, it's hanging in there, man. It's hanging in there for now.
Yeah. Just a quick update.
It goes beyond that, by the way, because you have tools and stuff that would be one system or the other. So people are actually actively invested in. You have cars and car parts and bolts and it's not snapping your fingers and undoing all of that.
No.